Hey, look, it's just that simple. We came back and laid out our tape to 78 inches and made a little mark here. Again, we're just looking to be rough, close. But I did go from the floor to 16 inches here and make a mark, which is generally where you hang your lower outlets. Your bottom ends up being about 12 inches from the floor. If you like to throw a mark at 1 foot and put your box on top, I normally go to 16 and hang it down. 6 1/2 dozen. But I will say I used a bullet level, not a particularly short one, I guess. This is about 1 foot long. To initially, when I found 16 inches, I threw the level on until it was, level, and threw a bit of a line through it. 16 inches, which became the top of the box. And then I moved to the one side of it a little bit and used the level to look for plumb, which is when you use it in this direction. And when I was plumb, I threw a line kind of down, and I had them end up being a little overly long, the lines. But then I could measure along that line the 3 3/4 of an inch or so and 2 1/4 of an inch or so that the old work box ended up being in this dimension, obviously in this dimension. Leaving myself a little bit of room, but then I could be sure that I had a hole that was both of the right size, but also normal to the wall, and when we're all done, it doesn't look cattywampus or anything else, and I could do all of that while basically being in this tree a la Christmas Vacation to avoid moving it over just to work. It came out pretty nice, and the last piece of this puzzle was using the oscillating tool. I like a carbide blade. It's good for almost every situation. I mean, they're $30 a piece. No, this is just the titanium. Wood with nails. Storm titanium from Imperial Blades. I like that style, the hatchet shape for the most part. It works perfectly for cutting. I could have made these wider, but the width of it is essentially the perfect width to push straight in and cut these boxes out, and then obviously a little bit longer in the other dimension. The very small amount of mess, not a high RPM spinning thing, so we didn't get a big dust cloud. You get a little dust that falls out to the floor. And so in the end, I generally leave a titanium one or a carbide one in there because then you can cut screws, which are hardened, but this did the trick no problem. And you could even use a wood cutting blade on one of these if you don't want to invest in a nicer blade. But we just popped that hole right in there and pulled this little piece out. We ended up nowhere near a stud in either direction, which was, again, probably due to Jesus' birthday being so near. We were very lucky today. And now all we got to do is go down and open up that hole, and we can send our wire up, and our lovely assistant, Katie, can catch it and pull it out through the wall. Why an old work box? I'll tell you. They have these handy little built-in tabs. Sometimes they're plastic. These ones are metal. But once it slides into the raw drywall opening, rather than needing to be attached to the stud on either side, you can tighten these, you turn these little bolts on the face, and they flip up. Come on, one-handed. Boop. Nope. To turn them righty-tighty, flips up that tab, and he can't go any further than that, and then he draws in as you tighten up the bolt. I'm sorry for the bad visualization, but he draws in until he pinches the drywall, and they do that on both top and bottom. So it ultimately becomes attached to the drywall, and we don't need a stud. But this is a living nightmare if you get the wrong kind of junction. So an old work single or double gang fixture box. So let's pull our over drill our hole and pull our wire out, and we'll come back and look at getting this right, and then hopefully plug in our Christmas tree as soon as we get the lights out. All right, we'll see.